Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to review the 2018 horror movie Our House. A supernatural horror movie that focuses on a young family that has to go through a tragic event, and they are left to be raised by their older brother, who's some kind of he's a bit of a scientist genius guy who at the beginning of the film was trying to invent a new way to get electricity to work without wires that basically fails. And then the tragedy happens within the family and he has to raise his younger brother and sister. And things go to plan first at the beginning of the movie. He's trying his best to raise them, and his attention is then turned to his scientist project, and he starts getting interested in trying to get it to work again, and he starts working on it at home. And as soon as he turns on his machine, strange things start happening in the house, and the members of the family think they're being contacted by their mum and dad, who they tragically lost at the beginning of the movie. Initially, Ethan doesn't believe it, and then he comes around pretty quickly, and he's pretty convinced that there's some supernatural stuff going on. And as you can expect in these type of movies, things continue to escalate as the movie goes on and get more and more intense, to the point where they question whether it is actually their mum and dad contacting them at all, or is it something far more sinister. That's your basic premise for this movie. It's a premise we've seen many times before. They try and add bit of a twist on it, in a sense of, this scientist machine, this kid turning this machine on in the hope, that he's gonna solve the world's energy crisis, and this somehow unlocks this supernatural energy, which is something a little bit new, I suppose. Now, I'll be honest, going into this movie, guys, I wasn't expecting an awful lot, and I have to say, after watching it, I was reasonably pleasantly surprised with this movie. I thought it was certainly very watchable. It felt quite a traditional horror movie, in the sense of it almost actually felt like something from the 80s in the way it looked, and certainly the soundtrack. So it felt a bit retro, it felt a bit more of a traditional horror movie. It followed a pattern that you're familiar with these type of movies, so it was actually quite a chilled out watch, which is quite a weird thing to say for a horror movie. That's not to say that there aren't some scares in this. There are. They're not intense, really, but there are some pretty decent scares in it, especially in the last 15-20 minutes. I thought the actors all did a really good job. It's actually really very well made, this movie. It didn't feel low budget at all, and the actors all did a really good job. There were no weak performances. I thought the child actors they chose did a really good job, especially the little girl, the younger sister. I thought she did a really good performance, if I'm honest. And you really had a good connection with these characters. The film did a really good job of helping you to connect with these characters, and you really cared about them. And that is, for any movie, no matter what genre it is, if you can make the audience care about the characters, you're on to a winner. So consequently, by the end, you felt concerned for them when the real supernatural stuff starts kicking off. So I thought they did a really good job of helping you connect to these characters. So it was well written and well directed. Like I say, great soundtrack. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. It felt very retro, filmed really nice, lit really nice, and like I say, it didn't feel cheap at all. There's a couple of issues I have with the movie. It's kind of some of the exposition scenes and some of the dumbed down sciencey stuff. It's almost like when he turns on his machine at home and all this supernatural stuff starts kicking off, he's almost surprised, to the point where he looks at his workings on like this chalkboard he's been doing, and he spots things like dimensions and this kind of stuff, and he puts two and two together, and he starts researching that actually what he's doing can like open up supernatural doors. Sorry, but if you were some kind of scientist genius, you'd have researched all this before you even went into trying to create this kind of scientific experiment. So that was a bit odd. And you could throw at this that it's incredibly predictable. It is one of those traditional supernatural haunting type movies that you have seen many times before. So it does follow. It's almost a paint by numbers horror movie, this, but it's done really well. That's the key thing here. I've seen many horror movies similar to this that are done really poorly. The budgets are really bad, or the acting's really bad, or the effects are really bad, and it just destroys the immersion. Well, this film has been made really well, looks really good, acted really good, written really well, and directed really well, with a great soundtrack. So it builds up the immersion in a movie like this, so you accept it more. So I've got to say, guys, I quite enjoyed this movie. It ain't a classic. It's not one of these horror movies you're going to watch and rave about, but it's a very competently made horror movie, and I enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. And if you want actually a fairly chilled out horror movie to watch that isn't really intense, but it's really well made and does have some pretty good scares in it later in the movie, then I think you could enjoy this one, guys. It's pretty good. The build-up's pretty slow in this movie, but the payoff in the last 25 minutes is pretty good. So it's worth the wait, I would say. So yeah, this one's out now if you want to watch it, and I would recommend it if this is your type of horror movie. It's a very watchable movie, this one, guys. It just doesn't cut it above to get a higher score, basically. It's not really fantastic. So thank you once again for watching, everybody.